Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Quickly before I get into this, if you would just kindly go down, give me a like and subscribe on my channel, it would help me out a great deal because YouTube certainly don't. And also, because this is on YouTube, I'm going to leave links to some other video hosting platforms that I use, and it's going to have the full video with what I'm allowed to say. What I'm going to say here is going to be, as I said, watered down because there's some words on here that would get my channel canceled. So I'm just going to leave it at the bare bones for this. There's a politician over in Scotland by the name of Julie Mackenzie, and she wants the comedian Jimmy Carr, get this, and his audience to be prosecuted for hate speech. The audience. Okay? So, anyways, Christmas Day 2021, Netflix released Jimmy Carr's special, and it was called His Dark Materials. This is the last video that I just did. I talked about this and the impact that it had. It took a month for it to sink in, but eventually it did. And it's funny because he gave a huge warning in the beginning of the special. He said, I'm going to talk about things here that may have affected you, may have affected relatives of yours, people that you know. He said, these jokes are not about them. They are about the situation. They're just jokes. Okay? So, if you hear something like that, and you curl up in a ball, sucking your thumb, grabbing a little teddy bear, when somebody says something that you think is hurtful, well, I suggest that you change the channel. It's kind of funny how these people who are like this, they'll listen to the whole thing and then yell and scream that nobody else should listen to it. Yet they have heard it. It's odd. Everybody else, they're worried about everybody else getting hurt, but it was okay for them to do that and then scream that they got hurt. Anyways, the Scottish Nationalist Party councillor, she's decided to weigh in. I guess she needs some clout. Maybe she's doing poorly in the polls or something, and she's trying to make a name for herself, trying to work her way up in the Scottish Parliament. Who knows? But she's suggesting that Jimmy Carr and anyone in the audience that applauded him during the Netflix special should be prosecuted. Yes, she put this up online. No lie. So Julie Mackenzie, she's the counselor for Oban North and Lorne, and she said that the Netflix special contained hate speech because of a joke about the World War II H-bomb. And when I say H-bomb, I'm talking about the one thing you're not allowed to say, talk about, or anything like that. And she says, this is the quote, Jimmy Carr and his Netflix hate speech and his applauding audience should be prosecuted. That's what she wrote. The remark was criticized by social media users for being authoritarian and anti-free speech, which it was. Such as one person saying, just so I can get this right, you think people who laugh at offensive jokes should be jailed, and you thought that this would make the Scottish National Party look good? How? That was a quote from one person's Twitter account. Before making the joke, Carr admitted that it might be career-ending. Right away, when you hear something like that, and you're a little snowflake, you might want to turn it off. But no. Anyways, he then explains that a joke is good because it is educational and edgy as hell. Which, to be quite honest, It was. He said it's a joke about the worst thing that's ever happened in human history, and people say never forget. Well, this is how I remember, he said. Netflix is under pressure to remove the special, while certain societies and memorials are asking Carr to educate himself. I'm pretty sure that Jimmy Carr knows a great deal about this. For one reason, he used something that was in the joke as something that I seriously doubt 90% of the population out there actually did know. And the other thing is, Jimmy Carr is an extremely intelligent person. So I'm pretty sure that there's not much more he can do to educate himself. However, controversy here has sparked debate over comedic value and free speech. Those in support of free speech have criticized cancel culture, with Carr saying comedy is dead. Controversy led to the UK's Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries suggesting the creation of a law to prevent the broadcasting of such comments, which she described as abhorrent, and they just shouldn't be on television. You don't have to watch it, Nadine. I talked about her in the previous video that I did. You don't have to watch. As I also said, you got one of these. Go click. Even on Netflix, you can move to something different. Don't be such an idiot. My take on this. Well, I'm afraid that, my opinion, Julie McKenzie's an idiot. And obviously these people who are criticizing comedy do not know how comedy works. You use stereotypes. Does everybody fit into the stereotype? No, of course not. Of course not. You can't sit there and say every single person who's this type does this, is this, behaves like this, whatever. It's just that there was a big group who did. So they created a stereotype. So everybody knows who the stereotype is. Drew Carey once said, stereotypes are perfect because they allow you to put the joke together. As the comedian says, this person and that person walked into a bar. You would automatically know this person, the stereotype about that person, and the stereotype of the other person. That's why they say specifically, this type of person. This background of them. Because you have it in your head. The stereotype. When they say that, what they mean is the stereotype. He said, it's not funny if you say a guy and a guy walk into a bar. That's not funny because then you have to go into elaborate explanations as to why this is funny, why that's funny, what it is about this person that they didn't get along with that person. That is ridiculous. And if you can't handle that, don't watch comedians. It's really that simple. Really is. So anyway, the reason that you did come here, my bad joke. Time for me to come up with a bad joke. And what better way to have this bad joke than to have it about Counselor Julie McKenzie herself. The one who wants people prosecuted for laughing at jokes. Prosecuted. Okay, and what happened was, Julie McKenzie and her husband don't get along very good. Her husband said to her, "What would you do if I won the lottery?" And she said, "I'd take half that money and I'd leave you so fast." He reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet. He said, "I got 3 numbers on the lotto. Here's your £5. Now get out of the house, you stupid ugly idiot. Anyways, on top of that, thank you very much. Please, like I said, go down, like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a great deal. And also, as I said, there will be links to other video hosting sites for the full video that I made about this, using language that I'm allowed to use on other video hosting sites because they are free speech platforms and YouTube is not. And YouTube also would cancel my channel had I used it on here. So thank you very much. Until later, have a Java on Zoom.